All right, welcome back, everybody. This is MDawg. Let me get these rods out, and then we'll talk to you a little bit about what we're doing here. 50-meter clip. Well, let's just try 92% and see if that gets it. Yeah, just barely. I think we're gonna have to do. I'm guessing we will have to do full cast to get it 50 meters on these other two, or mostly full cast. Yeah, that wasn't too much bounce back. So we'll be doing almost fully cast. I will go over the baits. Oh no, we can't have that. I gotta change these back as we go. I will go over the spot baits. First, I just want to talk to you about the video in general. Okay. We've got those out. I don't know if I can get this 50 meters. Might have to change reels to get it 50 meters, but let's try. It does have some weight to it, so maybe we can. It really doesn't matter, actually, if that's 50 meters. It depends on if we can see it at night, actually. It's more of a directional thing, not so much wanting to land right at the spot. Let's see. I mean, I can see it during the day, but like 50 meters is a long way. We may have to move that. I'm going to go ahead and move it now. Should pop up, and we should be able to tighten it up. Get it a little closer than that even. We just want to get something that we can in general aim for. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, if a big fish is on, we get the big fish in, another fish has been giving us trouble on another line for a few minutes. Sometimes you want to cast that first one back out pretty quickly. All right, we should be able to see that pretty nice. Even at night, I think. Okay, so as I've talked about for now, at least, what I'd like to be able to do is I've kind of got two different types of videos I'm doing right now, right? This one will be like hotspots with MDawg. And this is my main account. We're level 36, going to hit level 37 soon. And this will be, it could be anywhere. We could go to hotspots, low-level lakes, although I may try to show those spots more on my leveling account, if it's possible for me to, depending on the baits that are required. But certainly any of the mid-range lakes all the way up to the highest level lakes. And I want to be able to do these fairly frequently, and what I'll do is spots that I hear about from in-game, in my own in-game chat at MDawg. Feel free to join us if you want to, or from some of the Russian sites or YouTube, or from the trophies section that's been added back to Discord. All those are options, I guess, as places that will find spots that look really interesting. It's fun to come fish them. I'll document it and share them with you guys. Hopefully it's just another place where, if it's helpful, you can see how some of the spots are looking, decide if you want to try to fish there yourself. That's my goal, at least. The other type of video, of course, that we're doing is the leveling series. We just started a new one, kind of got a different focus. Every time I do a leveling series, I try to have a little bit of a focus to it. The one we're doing right now, we're trying to be as efficient and fun as possible. And for me, that means what we've started off doing is just a lot of float fishing and winding. And we're saving up for some nicer feeders instead of starting off with the lower junk ones. Anyway, that's kind of what we're doing. Okay, so there's the introduction. Obviously, we're at 136, 147. And if you've been paying attention to Discord or talk to other people, the main person that I've seen given credit for this spot is Krispy, right? And so this is Krispy's spot as far as I know. He's the one I've seen posting on Discord about it. It was one of his recipes for ground bait that I'm using, and I've got this ground bait on every rig. This is the ingredients, the ones I'm using. Again, he has different recipes he's used. You can tell he's kind of gone back and forth. I just picked one of them. Rapeseed, blackcurrant, pop-up crushed, mulberry, pop-up crushed, mulberry, pop-up crushed, blackcurrant feed pellets, and mulberry is attractant. Now, this is the old bait. I was using this bait back at the other spot, which, by the way, is only a little bit down the path. I mean, we're really not fishing that far away from the old spot, right? But it's still the mulberry mix. This is what I'm using on this one, partially because on this reel, to be honest with you, this rig, this isn't as strong a rig as my other two. My first rig is my strongest. Second rig is next. Third rig with this Everest 2 on here, I don't know that I want to hit the biggest of all carp in terms of how long it'll take to try to fight it. I feel much more like I've got a fighting chance on my first and second rig. So that brings us to the first and second rig bait combinations. If you haven't seen what Krispy has been using, which, by the way, he did start at 64.94. And so I did fish at 64.94 recently, and that seemed really good. But he also moved to this spot, which is 136, 147. Honestly, I was just making sure I was in the right spot. I am. And we're kind of casting. I'm not sure exactly how Krispy's doing it, but from one of the screenshots he posted, and plus if you just look where the hole is, I'm assuming we're throwing into this 3.5 meter. But we're throwing pretty far. It's a 50-meter clip. You know, that's probably that's probably 75% of how far we're casting out. And on the first line, we've got this. The big change here. On my third rod, we've still got large 1 hooks, which is what I always use for carp fishing. Ever since Amber came out, I sort of realized, like, I'm getting a really good bite rate. We're still getting trophies. Well, it looks like people are starting to use the 4.0 hooks again. So I'm going to try it. We're going to see here. This is the first time I've done it. Since Amber's been out, I haven't used 4.0 hooks on carp since then. So we're going to try it today. Blackcurrant 24, mulberry 25. So really big boy pop-up boilies kind of matching the hook. Mulberry dip still, and then that same same PVA that I showed you before. So that's the only difference with that one. This one is going to be slightly different only because we're using, instead of 24 on the Juicy Mulberry, we're using 20. So slightly different secondary pop-up boilie, but very similar to the other one. Again, 4.0 hooks. But like I showed you on the first time, this one's still got large 1 hooks with a much more reasonable bait combination here in terms of size and just trying something a little different. These have double pop-ups. This has 1 pop-up. The third has 1 pop-up with purple artificial corn. Okay. So that's what we're up to. Let's just give it a little while, see how it goes. I wanted you to... I don't even know how to respond. See what some of these comments are. I think somebody's just messing with me. So we will mess back. And I don't know, it looked like if you look at the age of the fish, and Krispy may have been fishing here for quite a while, but he was catching some decent trophies here and some nice fish overall, it looked like. What leader material makes the brown leaders? The brown leaders. Does he mean the braided? I wonder if that's what Magnum's asking. Let me look at this. Leader material. that makes the brown. I mostly have been using US braid green. I don't know if that's helpful or not. What was it called? US braid green. F40 jerkbait. Okay, so we'll see what our first fish is here on the large boilies. And we can put the blinker on, so we can take that bell off. Alright, this is not a big fish. We're going to reel him straight in. So we'll see how this goes. I'll probably, well, I say probably, I may do a part 1 and part 2 video for this spot if I end up, and I don't know exactly what my schedule is going to be tonight, but if I end up fishing here off recording for a little while as well, I may do a follow-up video. That's not a bad fish, actually. It's not bad. You can definitely grind some good silver off of that size. That size frame. Oh, we don't need to do that on this one. This one actually just never mind. We'll just do it. I need some energy. These heavy carp rods, huh? We are gonna have to go cooking on my main account soon. So yeah, we'll see how the first little while goes on this, and then we may do a follow-up later. If sometimes, like if my wife and I are watching Netflix or something, I'll fish a spot a little longer and see how it does over a little bit longer time. To me, it really takes a couple days to get a feel for a spot and really kind of test it. Curious if any of the rare carp species will show up in this spot. It looked like it was a pretty decent place to catch mirrors from what I was seeing on the trophies that were coming out of here. All right. So we were, what, 3 carp in? None of them commons, all of them decent markers. So far, so good. Hopefully the mic doesn't pick that up, but I gotta turn my fan on. That's funny. Tips for trolling. Okay. All right, let's get some lights out. It's getting a little dark here. We'll see how this spot, thanks for the follow there, dynamic, I can't speak, dynamic Monsingo. I love when the follows happen when I'm not even streaming. It's awesome. Ooh, dang. Nice Corey Char, Gallywix. Right at the end of the day, it came through for you. All right. So early impression is that third rod we have set up with the smaller sort of bait lineup might have a little better bite rate. But of course, I think what Krispy's been doing here is really being patient with these big 4.0 hooks, big boilies, and trying to increase the chances of catching those trophies. And Krispy seems to have certainly caught a few. But you know, these amber spots, you really can't come here and like I've had people in the past when I've released an amber spot video, you know, they'll come out here and fish for like 10 or 15 minutes in real time and just be like, it feels too slow. And I don't feel like amber works that way. You really have to give it a day or two in game time. And go through a day or so, see different weather, you know, different weather conditions, different times of the day. And then that will, you start to get a feel for a spot. You know, it's like that last amber spot we were fishing at that was so good. We've had several really good lately here at Amber, and it would be like, you know, you'd have a few minutes, there'd be no bites, but then all of a sudden you'd catch 3 or 4 in you know, in 5 minutes, and one of them would be a trophy. So it's I feel like with some of the other fish species, well, it's the same way with sturgeon. You can roll up to a sturgeon spot, and you know, you might happen to get a slow few minutes, but it might actually be a great spot if you're a little patient. Same with carp, maybe not to the same degree with sturgeon. You can be a little more patient with sturgeon even than carp probably, but I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty nice spot overall. Now this fish has not pulled against us at all. I'm trying to be a little more cautious on these carp. With the bigger ones, if I see that they are actively pulling against me, I try to stop resisting. Just let the pole be the only resistance that they're feeling. Because it just feels like a lot of times that's when the hook's popping out of their mouth. That's a nice mirror. That's a really nice mirror. And the other thing you have to watch, if you're new to carp fishing, the other thing you have to watch is if you're used to fishing for other fish species, you may just not realize how much silver you're making, even though it may feel slow at times. I like some of these guys in chat who actually will sometimes target catfish. You know, we used to just avoid those things like the plague. But some people are really enjoying going after them, trying to get some nice cats. Yeah, the bite rate on this third rod has actually been really good. So if you're having a hard time, I guess, being patient with the big boilies and big hooks, you could knock it down. I don't know that any of us know for sure that those 4.0 hooks are necessarily going to increase your trophy rate. I mean, even if it does, plenty of people catch lots of trophies on large one hook, so it can still happen. I don't know. But like I said, this is the first time I've tried 4.0 hooks on carp in a long time. Just never made sense to me. I don't feel like carp's mouths are that big that we would need to go to that size hook, but all right. You were here for it. Level 37. All right, so let's look at the time so far. 21:15, so 6 minutes. 15:13, 2 minutes. 13:05, 9 minutes. 1 minute, 2 minutes. Nighttime usually is pretty decent bite rate for carp here. Mornings are usually pretty good for carp here. Sometimes I feel like with many types of fishing, around noon until the evening bite picks up can be a little slowest part of the day. Yeah, you can hold on to a fish for the cafe up until it hits 0%, and then it is gone. So let's see. 55.63 bear seems to be doing well. Okay. 21 clip. That is a nice eel Dutch feast. All right, we've had a little bit of a slow moment here. I think there are so many new people in our chat. It's so awesome. Stumpy level 10, welcome to chat. 1 second, guys. I gotta take this. All right. Sorry about that, guys. That was my son, so I had to help him figure out something real quick. And, but we got in another nice mirror. So I'm just seeing really nice mirrors and a couple frames. One common so far. It's been an interesting spot so far. I think I'm going to have to get a little longer soak on it, because you know what elevates this from being just sort of an interesting spot with a fairly long clip to a really good spot is if in fact we do start seeing some trophies come out. So we'll give it another hour or two in game, and then I'll wrap this video up, and I'll try to keep you updated as it becomes a little more clear to me what this spot's really like. Would love to at least get to see one more fish here. So it's only been 3 minutes since that last one, but there was a 9-minute gap overnight there. Not ideal, although it was like what, from... Dang, that's a longer gap than I realized. Yeah, usually nights are a little bit better than that. I haven't decided what to do. I'm back up to 7 available points. I think I've said this before, but I'm trying to at least hold on to some in case I kind of want to try out the jerkbait rod and rig. And if I end up really enjoying that, I may want to put some points there. We'll see. That's a nice black. So Skillful is catching some nice stuff at Old Berg on cabbage, I believe. Yeah, how about the bite rate on this rod? I think it was a good idea. Ooh. I think it was a good idea to have the smaller setup so that you're not, you know, so the bite rate's a little more manageable. Just assuming we're going to end up needing that energy. Oh, now we got another fish on too. So first thing in the morning, we're getting some big hits here, it looks like. And this is the only one I have braid line on. Trying to just get a little bit more strength as well. Mostly it's because I can fit so much more line on the reel. It gives me a chance to maybe not get spooled. Be able to fight back on the bigger fish. I think there might be some carp though in this lake that might still spool this rig, especially when you're talking about a 50-meter clip. We have a lot of line on here. I used to have it with mono line, and I was overloading it a lot to try to get as much strength out of it as possible. But I decided that I wanted to try, instead of having the most strength I could have a lot more line and then moderate strength. Just see if I can sort of outlast a fish if I happen to get a trophy on this one. Fish will probably fight against this pull line a little bit here since our energy has gone down. pretty critical point here. I feel like it's pulling a lot. Our energy's just into the yellow. This is when you would expect it might just pop right out of its mouth. All right, we're back into the green. You can both feel and see it pulling really hard against you in some of these moments. Sometimes it's easy to turn back around. Sometimes it keeps fighting you. All right, we got him turned now. It's frame, I believe. Pretty decent one. Whew. That looks like a mirror, doesn't it? Oh, it's linear. Yeah, a little bit of everything out of this spot. Okay. 38 minutes. 9 fish. Although those 9 fish will, you know, be worth a decent amount of silver. All right. Let's call it there for this video. Again, I'll try to keep you updated. Oh, well, maybe you'll get one more fish. Get a bonus fish here. The overtime fish. It's a small fry. We caught a small fry. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll keep you updated.